Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this episode of Review Flicks, we're going to be talking about The Acolyte. We're going to be checking out both the audience and critic score when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, and we're going to be checking out the reviews and seeing what people have to say about it. It seems that this show is gaining a lot of praise and people are really enjoying what they're doing with it, which is great to hear as a Star Wars fan. So let's jump in, let's break it down, and let's see what's going on with these reviews and the Rotten Tomatoes scores. So this comes to us from comicflicknews.com. So, latest Star Wars TV series, The Acolyte, garners mostly praise as Rotten Tomatoes score is revealed. So, as reported on the sci-fi and fantasy gazette.com, the review embargo for Star Wars The Acolyte lifted today, revealing a certified fresh rating with an 87% score on Rotten Tomatoes. 87% score for a Disney Plus Star Wars series. Who would have thought, based on their track record and the garbage they've been giving us when it comes to Disney Plus Star Wars series in recent years, the fact that The Acolyte has garnered an 87% Rotten Tomatoes score. I feel like I've been teleported to an alternate dimension where Star Wars actually gets decent content from Disney, which is kind of crazy, but still, this is great to hear, guys. Even though I make fun, I mean, 87 is just insane. I'm all the more excited to see it. I haven't watched it yet, so this is fantastic to hear. While it hasn't achieved the critical acclaim of Andor, yeah, I mean, Andor's one of the best pieces of Star Wars content that they've put out since Disney gained control of Star Wars itself. The feedback is largely positive. An 87% score, equivalent to a 4 out of 5, is a commendable result. However, some detractors have already voiced their disdain due to the show's diverse cast, and Lucasfilm is likely preparing for a potential review bombing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people mistake diversity for woke and then Disney injecting woke into their shows and stuff. I understand that a lot of people have a lot of different comments when it comes to diversity and wokeisms and stuff, and I just kind of leave people to make their own decisions and comment however they want. It doesn't detract from my kind of pleasure of watching Star Wars. And yeah, it is what it is. That's just part of the Star Wars fan base. I try not to let it bother me. So, despite The Acolyte seems poised to be a hit, with 2-episode premiere giving fans and critics a healthy bite size of the show they can digest. Yeah, I really enjoy what they do when they put out these Disney Plus series. They give us 2 episodes to start with rather than just 1. 2 episodes is great. It gives us enough to kind of chew on to understand what the show is going to be about. It's a healthy kind of bite size of the tone, the characters, and what we can expect from the show going forward. So premiering with 2 episodes, I think, is a great idea. Fans and critics are now sharing their opinions on this prequel to the prequels. Prequel to the prequels. That just goes to show you how kind of convoluted and kind of crazy the canon to Star Wars is. Prequel to prequels and kind of all over the place. So, The Acolyte is a self-contained story, but there are rumours of a possible second season. Yeah, I mean, that's just stating the obvious. If the viewership figures are there in the coming weeks, if people actually manage to watch all the episodes till the end of the season finale, rather than kind of falling off the season halfway through, that'll be determined soon. But we'll have to wait and see how those viewership figures pan out in the coming weeks as to whether they develop a second season for The Acolyte. So, depending on the show's viewership in the coming weeks, yeah, like I was just saying. So, let's check out the tomato meter reveal below, along with the roundup of reviews from various entertainment websites and trades. So guys, if we go down, we check out this image here from Rotten Tomatoes, we can see the critic score is at 88% and the audience score is at 47%. So there's a bit of a discrepancy here between the critics and the audience, which is kind of crazy, but we'll have to see how that pans out in the coming weeks as to whether these scores change. But let's go over to Rotten Tomatoes quickly and check the most up-to-date scores for both the critics and audience and see if it's changed since we started making this video. So if we refresh the page quickly, and it should go down, yep. So yeah, it's still at 88% for critics and 47% for audience. I just wanted to make sure that we were getting the most up-to-date figures there, guys. So let's move on to the actual reviews themselves and see what people are saying. So the first review here comes to us from the AV Club. What perhaps makes The Acolyte such an engaging and addictive watch, over the first 4 episodes screened for critics at least, is its commitment to not treating the Jedi or the Star Wars franchise as untouchable. If anything, Sol, Indara, and the like become figures through which the series pokes holes and revered Jedi Order in a way that feels necessary if you're to think of this world as ethically ambiguous Morris, where everyone is trying to do their best and finding in due time that yes, even the Jedi are fallible. So yeah, it's great saying here that this person is basically saying it's great that they're taking a look at the Jedi. They're not just showing the Jedi in a positive light, they're showing kind of the downside and the failings of the Jedi as well. That basically at the end of the day, they're still human, they still, they still retain their faults and they're still fallible as it comes to the Jedi Order. So it's great to see that, we're going to get to see both sides of the Jedi in the show. So from comicbookmovie.com, Star Wars like you've never seen it before. The Acolyte soars thanks to its impressive cast, compelling setting and mystery, which will keep you coming back for more. Now we just need to hope the series sticks the landing. Yeah, that's going to be the all-important question that people are going to be asking. With some of the other Star Wars series, I mean, Obi-Wan started off strong, but then again, as the series went along, it fell off towards the middle. A lot of people stopped watching it because the shows just became basically drivel, and it didn't stick the landing ultimately. So, can the Acolyte start strong, which it already has by the look of it? But can it actually stick the landing all the way through the series and actually become a great show overall? That'll be a question we'll have to find out in due course. So, a Star Wars mystery that interests rather than intrigues. This is spiced up nonetheless by a brand new setting, some arresting Force Fu, and Wookiee with a lightsaber, 3 out of 5, and that comes to us from Empire Online. Force Fu, I love that, Force Fu, that's a whole new type of combat. It's like Jedi's using the Force and kind of Kung Fu at the same time. That sounds fantastic. From the clips that they released, it looks great. The choreography and the fight scenes looks great. I can't wait to see that. And a Wookiee with a lightsaber. I mean, take my money. Wookiee with a lightsaber. So, yeah, interest rather than intrigues. This is a spiced up nonetheless by a brand new setting. So, ultimately, Empire are pretty happy with what they're seeing. So, from the Hollywood Reporter, the Acolyte does not throw out the Star Wars playbook entirely. I mean, yeah, you can't throw away the Star Wars playbook entirely. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's faithful to the charms that have carried this series for so many decades. Strange planets, weird creatures, lightsaber battles with a fresh Wookiee flair. May's murderous quest is backed by a mysterious figure whose helmet, weapon, and mechanical voice recall Darth Vader, suggesting this narrative could yet come down to another Sith versus Jedi battle. I mean, yeah, ultimately that's what Star Wars is centered around, isn't it? Jedi and the Sith battling each other. So, I mean, if you're disappointed by that concept, then I don't understand why you'd like Star Wars in the first place. But, yeah, it sounds like here, murderous quest backed by a mysterious figure. I mean, that'll be interesting to find out who this mysterious figure is. But ultimately, it looks like they're saying that it's great. It sticks to Star Wars and kind of the recipe that we've known for such a long time. And, yeah, it seems that the Hollywood Reporter here is, mostly positive. So, the Acolyte takes us on an earlier era of Star Wars that we've seen on screen with mixed results. Awkward dialogue and a small scope rob it of some of the series' signature space magic, but these old school Jedi are a thrill to watch in action. So, it says here mixed results, awkward dialogue and small scope. But then again, it says that the Jedi are a thrill to watch. So, ultimately, IGN, they've got a bit of a mixed review here. There's some things that they really enjoyed. The Jedi's kind of fighting and the choreography and the fights probably. But then it says the awkward dialogue and it kind of feels like it's a small scope for the show. So, bit of a mixed bag when it comes to IGN. So, from the Mary Sue, the Acolyte had a lot of things that could have worked against it. A new era for the franchise. All new characters and a small portion of the Star Wars fanbase who hates anything not straight, white and male was pushing back on the show before it even started it. But the first 4 episodes of The Acolyte tell a story I cannot get enough of. Like I said, that comes to us from the Mary Sue. So this person is ultimately just talking about kind of the toxic side of the fan base, who are kind of, talking about, the ethnicity of the actors and characters, rather than the actual reviewing the show itself, which is kind of crazy. But, Acolyte had a lot of things that could have worked against it, a new era for the franchise. But yeah, The Acolyte tells a story I cannot get enough of. So the Mary Sue seems to be really, really enjoying this show, and they can't get enough of it. So that's great, another positive in the bag. Someone is killing the Jedi, but who and why? Harder to answer. Whether the story unfolds from the 2-episode premiere is anyone's guess. But it's safe to say that I'm on board for this particular jump into hyperspace. That comes to us from Slash Film. So yeah, it seems like here the mystery is really intriguing. Slash Film seems to like the mystery and seems to be interested to find out where the series is going and how that villain is going to be revealed. And I think that's going to be the major hook that gets me interested in this show. That slow reveal of who the villain is going to be and what their kind of motives are and what they're trying to achieve. So, full of logical fallacies, hokey dialogue, and nonsensical plots. Wow, this is a really bad review. So Acolyte feels entirely of a piece with the worst elements of the prequel trilogy, which many hardcore fans love to hate even 25 years later. Logical fallacies, hokey dialogue, nonsensical plots. So basically, USA Today, they've given it a 2 out of 4, which is a very strange score considering they've said all of this stuff here. I mean, you would have thought that would be a 1 out of 4 at least, but yeah, it seems like USA Today really didn't like the show. So in giving itself permission to poke at Star Wars mythology, The Acolyte cultivates the same sense of curiosity it exhibits about its own universe. Too often, franchise series feel like a perfunctory exercise in expansion. When many screeners for The Acolyte ran out, I wanted to learn what happened next, even if we already know where the Republic is heading. So, yeah, it seems like from this review as well, and an earlier review, it seems like they're poking fun at the Star Wars kind of series or the franchise itself when it comes to the Jedi Order. It's not taking itself too seriously, which is great to hear. But it says here, even if we already know where the Republic is heading, I wanted to learn what happened next, which means that it caught this Variety's attention. Variety is still interested to see where the shows go, and ultimately this is kind of a positive leaning review, which is great. So with only half the season available for review, of course, it's hard to say whether Headland and her staff will stick the landing, or whether The Acolyte has its eye on an extension beyond these 8 episodes. But this is also a rare, so far, Star Wars show that doesn't feel like the first job is to revive a bunch of beloved iconography. So it sounds like it's doing its own thing from what this review says. But then again, we have that ultimate question, will it stick the landing? The first 4 episodes have been received generally well, positive reviews for those episodes, but can it stick the landing? Will people actually watch it until its conclusion? Or will the majority of the fan base and the viewers kind of drop off the episodes as we go along? Again, we'll have to wait until the viewership numbers come out and see what people are saying once the show has concluded. So, from Rotten Tomatoes here, Star Wars The Acolyte is now certified fresh at 83. Obviously, that's changed now, it's 87. On Tomato with 47 reviews. So, again, this is fantastic to hear that a Star Wars Disney Plus series has been certified fresh. 87%, nearly 90%, which is all kinds of crazy. But I'm so happy for it, guys, I really am. What do you think about the early reviews for The Acolyte? Are you excited about this new addition to the Star Wars universe? Share your thoughts in the comments below. So yeah, guys, there we have it. The roundup of the reviews, the critics and audience score. Critics sitting at 88%, sorry, and audience sitting at 47, which again is kind of a big discrepancy, but I'm sure we'll see how that pans out in the future. But guys, please jump into the comment section and let me know what you think. Have you seen the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What's the positives? What's the drawbacks to the episodes? Whatever your thoughts are about those first 2 episodes, if you've seen them, let us know, guys. I can't wait to see what you have to say about this. Hit that like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next one.